Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow and something feels different. Not obvious, just off. The way people talk to you, the way you respond, the way you see yourself. It doesn't feel the same anymore. And then it hits you. What if none of this was actually you? What if the way you think, the way you react, the way you've been living was shaped, not chosen? You start replaying moments, things you said, things you accepted, things you ignored, and suddenly they look different. That wasn't confidence. That was fear. That wasn't patience. That was tolerance. That wasn't love. That was attachment. And now you can't unsee it. So who are you without all of that? Without the patterns, the reactions, the version of you that was built to fit what others expected? You try to go back, to think the same way, and to feel the same way. But something has shifted, and it won't go back. Because once you see manipulation clearly, it stops feeling normal. Even if it used to. You start noticing things you ignored before. The tone, the patterns, the subtle pressure. And for the first time, you pause. Not react. Pause. And in that pause, there's space. Space to question. Space to choose. Space to stop repeating. It's not easy. Because part of you still wants the old version. The comfortable version. The version that didn't question everything. But that version was easier to control. So now you're left with something uncomfortable. Awareness. Not peace. Not certainty. Just awareness. And once you have it, you can never go back to not seeing. Like if you're starting to see this differently, that means something has already shifted. Most people go their entire lives without questioning any of this. So if this is making sense to you, stay here, subscribe. Because once you begin to see clearly, you can't afford to go back to not noticing. Kukansinan, and now you can't unsee it. At first, it's small. A sentence someone says that suddenly feels rehearsed. A reaction you've had for years. That now feels automatic, like you've been following something without realizing it. You start noticing patterns, not just in one person, in everyone. The same tone, the same pressure, the same subtle ways people guide you without ever saying it directly. Agree here. Stay quiet there. Don't question this. And the strangest part? You've been doing it to yourself too. You catch yourself mid-thought, about to say something, then stopping, not because you want to, but because something inside you tells you not to. And now, you don't trust that voice the same way. So everything starts to split. What you feel and what you were trained to feel. What you think and what you were taught to think. Two versions. And they don't match anymore. You try to go back to normal. To react the same way. To ignore the same things. But it doesn't work. Because now, you're watching yourself do it. And that changes everything. You start to see how much of your life was built on subtle influence, not force. Not control you could point at, but repetition. Over time, small adjustments. That slowly shaped how you respond, what you accept, what you believe is normal, and you never questioned it because it felt like you. But now it doesn't. And that's where it gets uncomfortable. Because if that wasn't fully you, then who are you without it? There's no clear response, no instant clarity, just space. And in that space, there's uncertainty. What do you believe now? What do you trust? What do you keep and what do you drop? Because awareness doesn't rebuild you, it strips things away first. And what's left isn't perfect. It's not confident. It's not even stable yet. It's just real. So now you're standing in a place you've never been before. Not controlled the same way. Not reacting the same way. And not seeing things the same way. And once you reach this point, there's no version of you that can go back to not knowing. Doesn't end when the video ends. That's the part no one prepares you for. Because once you see it, you start noticing it everywhere. In conversations, in the way people respond to you, in the way you respond to them, the pauses, the tone shifts, the things left unsaid. It all feels different now. And the strangest part? You start catching yourself. Mid-reaction, about to say something you've said 100 times before, then stopping. Because now you're aware of it. And that awareness doesn't always feel good. It feels slower, more uncertain, less automatic, less comfortable. And because the version of you that moved without thinking was easier to live as, but it wasn't fully you. Now everything takes a second longer. You think before you respond. You question before you accept. You pause where you used to react. And that pause feels unfamiliar because you're not used to choosing. You're used to following patterns, expectations, reactions you never questioned. But now you see them. And that doesn't make you perfect. It doesn't make you immune. It just makes you aware. You'll still feel the pull. You'll still recognize the patterns. You'll still be tempted to go back to what feels familiar. But now, there's a difference. You can see it happening in real time as it's happening. And that means, for the first time, you have a choice. So now you see it. Not all at once, not perfectly, but enough. That it doesn't feel the same anymore. And that's the part people don't talk about. Once you start noticing, you can't go back to not noticing. The patterns, the reactions, the moments where something feels slightly off, you'll see them now, in real time. And the question isn't, was I manipulated? You already know the answer to that. The real question is, what are you going to do? Now that you see it, if you want to keep seeing clearly, stay here, subscribe. Because the moment you stop paying attention, it starts working again. Not when it's obvious, but when it feels normal.